French President Emmanuel Macron's government is working on a new migration bill. The administration wants to crack down on illegal immigration while at the same time welcoming much-needed skilled workers. The bill also aims for tougher action against extremism and terrorism. But rights workers fear that it will just make life for new arrivals even more difficult.
Ahmad Sibi is here to fight for his rights, together with other undocumented immigrants. The 33-year-old Malian has been working in France for almost 5 years, lately as a dishwasher, using not his own name but other people's papers through a legal loophole.
Most of us undocumented immigrants are using this method. We're paying social insurance fees and taxes without benefiting from services such as regular public health care. President Macron's government treats us as if we were nothing, although we're doing all the dirty work. Also at construction sites, including the ones for the Paris Olympics next summer.
He and others have been demonstrating against the bill for weeks. The new law was set to automatically give people like Ahmada, who work in sectors with a labour shortage, a 1-year working permit. Instead, these decisions will continue to be taken on a case-by-case basis. The protesters are also opposing a new rule which will make it possible to expel migrants who have committed crimes, even if they arrived in France before the age of 13. Unions and aid groups are appalled.
They will further restrict the possibilities to obtain legal papers and deploy even more means to crack down on immigrants, to arrest and expel them. That would even concern immigrants who have papers. Immigrants are being labelled as criminals, and even mainstream politicians are now being outright xenophobic, not just the far right.
Far-right party Rassemblement National is predicted to come first in next year's European elections. And so politicians seem to be out to grab right-wing votes with what is far from France's first immigration law.
France has passed more than 100 immigration laws since 1945. Some of them were supposed to boost immigration, others to restrict. But experts have been telling me that these changes in the law have had practically no impact on the number of immigrants per year. Most of those coming to France are looking for a better life and will not be deterred by tougher immigration rules.
But the government says the bill will be effective and that it's balanced.
French people no longer need to be afraid. We'll be able to expel foreigners who have committed crimes. And company bosses will be able to keep on working with people who respect our values, as they'll have the right to stay.
However, Ahmada first and foremost sees the new rules as extra hurdles for him to rebuild his life in France.
That permit would enshrine modern slavery into law, as we would need to work in that one job to keep the work permit. We want to choose the job we work in.
He is determined to battle for a better future.
And DW's Lisa Louie now. She joins me. She just filed that report. She's here in the studio with me. And Lisa, you were telling me this is a major story today in France. What's going on right now with this bill?
Brent, there have just been some breaking news, actually. So this bill was supposed to be discussed in Parliament now for a couple of weeks, but the opposition filed a motion to reject this before the debate could start in Parliament. And there were enough votes to vote for the rejection, so it has now, the debate is now halted, and the bill has to go back to the Senate or to a mixed commission, or the government can drop it. It's a major setback for Macron's government.
What was the opposition's reasoning for wanting to block this bill?
You know, the interesting thing is that, there's the left-wing opposition and the far-right and the right-wing opposition. They all voted together. And so it's quite rare, right? And on one side said, it doesn't go far enough. We don't want any immigrants. That would be the far-right. And then the left-wing party said, no, we don't want this bill at all. It's too tough. It's cracking down on immigrants that we need. It doesn't represent immigrants as we would think of them. We want them here and they can contribute to our society. They didn't agree on the reasons, but they voted for that motion.
Well, can we say, though, that in Parliament a majority of MPs are in favour of changing migration laws? Is that a statement that we can say?
Well, yeah, but not in the same direction, as I just said. So one part of the opposition actually wants there to be a tougher crackdown. The far-right Rassemblement National under former presidential candidate Marine Le Pen said, we need to close down the borders. We don't want any immigrants here. They're all illegal. They're all criminals. And obviously the far left is saying the opposite, saying, we want them here. It actually shows that the Macron government is really struggling to get support for its bills, for its draft laws. As you know, since the parliamentary elections last year, Macron doesn't have an outright majority in Parliament. And so they need other parties, especially the Republican Party, which is a conservative party, and 40 of the 62 Republican parliamentarians voted to reject that debate.
So what does this mean then for Macron's government? If he wants to get anything done, is he going to have to cuddle up a little bit to the right, or what are his options?
No one knows, really. He actually, as I said, the options with this bill is, send it back or just drop it or start debates again. But what can he do to actually speed up things or to streamline the whole political process? That's actually not clear at all. It's a major setback for him. It shows that he can't actually bring other parliamentarians behind him, even when it comes to a draft law, which is, has been labelled as quite tough, but with a majority of the French in favour of that draft law.
Yeah, it's a story we report about many times, not only in France, but here in Germany and in the US as well. Lisa Louis, good to have you in the studio. Thank you.